to share with you about the introduction of my research paper. First of all, environmental pollution is one of the important problems in the world nowadays, especially for water pollution. Lots of wastewater is discharged into the ocean directly and cause serious damage to the environment. Do you know which organisms are affected by water pollution seriously?
Fish.
Yes, you're right. Let's watch a short movie first. As Andy mentioned before, marine organisms are affected by water pollution seriously. Lots of fish died because of this, and many of the wastewater is come from industries, and industrial waste contain lots of heavy metals. They damage their living environments. Besides fish, birds and also humans are affected by this issue too. Humans may suffer from disease after eating those fish, so remove heavy metal is an important issue to solve the water pollution problem. And I have read several research papers, and I choose 5 of them to criticize on. And those research papers are published within 2005 to 2007. And there are some strengths and weaknesses about the research paper. Let's talk about the stress first. Most of them include detailed procedures. Scientists show the steps of the experiments steps by step so that readers can understand how the experiments run and know how these methods can help to remove heavy metals. It is also good for those readers who are not good at science to read, because it is very clear. They can make their general idea about the experiments. Also, most of them include clear results. Most of the results are represented in graphs, and also the percentage about the efficiency of removing specific kinds of heavy metals and put in the orders. It is very good too, because reader can understand and can know which method is better for removing heavy metals, and they can choose the method they want to, because some of them just want to remove specific kinds of the heavy metals. By this result, they can find the suitable methods for them to use. And also, most of the methods are environmental friendly and low cost. Low cost methods is important, especially for those developing countries, because most of the developing countries are not able to afford too expensive equipment to do the wastewater treatment. As a result, they may give up to use those methods and discharge those wastewater directly into the ocean and cause the water pollution problem. And the water pollution problem will become more serious, and at the end, it cannot be controlled by us anymore. However, there are some weaknesses about the research paper. First, most of the methods have not applied into the actual situation yet. It means that most of the methods are just carried out in the laboratory, and they still have not tried to use in the actual situation. the results got from the actual situation may be different from that got in the experiment. So the actual efficiency may be unknown. The actual efficiency carried in the actual situation may be much lower than they expect. Also, there are many other factors or minerals also may affect the removing efficiency of the heavy metals, so the visibility may also unknown. Besides, there are no such methods that can remove all kinds of heavy metals. It means that, as I mentioned before, each method can only remove certain kinds of heavy metals. It may be quite high cost if a country uses several methods to remove all kinds of heavy metals. And some developing countries may not afford to use them. And as I mentioned before, they give up to use this and discharge those industrial waste into the ocean directly and cause the water pollution not only locally but also globally, because water pollution is a global problem. So to my research, I want to compare those methods and try to find out a method that is the most feasible and economical efficient one. And my research question is, which method of removing heavy metals in the ocean is the most feasible and economical efficient to remove heavy metals, so that it can suggest it to other countries to use to treat those wastewater. To conclude, the 5 research papers I read, I think they are quite useful because they relate to my research topic, and I can compare the feasibility of those methods and try to find out the most feasible one to use. But most of them are not applied to the actual situation yet. So to do my further research, I need to find out more research paper and information about the methods that have already been used by some countries, and the result of the efficiency to remove heavy metal is quite high, so that I can compare the methods with those suggested in the 5 research papers and find out the most feasible and economical one to promote it and suggest to other countries to use. This is the end of my presentation. Thank you.
Okay, Andy, ask next question.
Do you know what kind of methods is used in Hong Kong for removing heavy metals?
I'm not very sure about this, but I have read the research paper. There are some interesting methods. I have read the one which used the coffee beans to remove those heavy metals. It is an environmental friendly method and do not need too much cost to do this, because the coffee bean can be the coffee bean residues. That means some coffee that's left after people drinking them. So it can use this to treat the wastewater, the efficiency, and other limitations also are here. So further study should be done if want to further use these methods.
Will you suggest these methods to Hong Kong?
Yes, I think this is an interesting method and just low cost. So if it is workable, I will suggest to the government to try to use this.
Why do you think most of the research is only in the laboratory, not in the real environment?
Because the research paper, they just point out the results that taken from the laboratory, but not in the actual situation. So I think they haven't do so much research on the actual situation.
So why is that? Is it too difficult to do?
I think it is or it is the early stage for these methods. So it should do more improvement of the research before putting in public use.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.